really wanted to find a way where I can merge my two passions because I've been doing karate and martial arts since I was 2 years old. I had two older brothers that got enrolled in it, so I got thrown into it as well. My karate instructor needed a website, so I built one for him. It worked really well. So decided, hey, why don't I start offering this to other martial arts schools out there? Martial arts, I'm lucky enough to have started it so young, and it's going to be part of my life forever, even if there's, lulls where I'm super into working on the next big technology piece for Market Muscles. But yeah, training, every week if I can get there, going to Japan multiple times per year for more training. It's just one of those passions that I have that definitely continue. So we're very keen on ensuring that the relationship with someone who's leaving us is just like they were treated as they were being signed up. And I think our customers really appreciate that. And it's the reason why a lot of them end up returning and checking out what we've done in the past, because they feel like they're cared about throughout the whole process, regardless about the money aspect.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Seven Figure Secrets podcast. Jennifer Waters here, along with my dad, Tommy Siegler, and our special guest today, Mr. Steven Reinstein. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic. Hey, I know a lot of our viewers might actually know who you are just because you've been in the martial arts industry for quite a while, but I'd love to just kind of, have you introduce yourself to our audience, tell them a little bit about what you do as the CEO of Market Muscles.
Sure, yeah. So around 8 years ago, we just actually celebrated 8 years in May, which is crazy to think about. I can't believe it's been that long already. But I started a company called Market Muscles, and the whole goal was to help connect more people with martial arts, right? And since I was young, I've been working on websites. I've been creating, different websites for different industries. And I really wanted to find a way where I can merge my two passions because I've been doing karate and martial arts since I was 2 years old. I had two older brothers that got enrolled in it, so I got thrown into it as well. And my karate instructor needed a website, so I built one for him. It worked really well. So decided, hey, why don't I start offering this to other martial arts schools out there? So around 8 years ago is when Market Muscles officially launched. It's been an incredible journey. And over the last 8 years, we've grown our client base to roughly 700 martial arts schools around the United States and Canada and some overseas. But yeah, it's work that I get to wake up every day and love and continue to do. And yeah, it's been a pleasure being part of this industry.
That's phenomenal. I think that there's definitely outside sources that try to come into the industry, but there's a difference when you are an actual martial artist. So it sounds like your original reason why you got into this was because of just the instructor's need. You kept up with your martial arts training as well, I'm assuming, like black belt and all of that?
Yeah. Martial arts, I'm lucky enough to have started it so young, and it's going to be part of my life forever, even if there's, lulls where I'm super into working on the next big technology piece for Market Muscles. But yeah, training, every week if I can get there, going to Japan multiple times per year for more training. It's just one of those passions that I have that definitely continue.
That's incredible.
Wow. Yeah. So you've been in this forever. So you've been in martial arts and you've been into the web development space, I guess you could call it that. Tell me, what do you think that people just don't get when it comes to the website? We've got a website, and we had a website with you way back in the day. What do you think are some things they just don't get about the websites?
Yeah, I think a lot of school owners, obviously their goal with their website is to generate as many leads as possible, right? So the actual detail, though, that goes into it, the things that make someone decide to fill out their information, what actually makes that switch in their brain go from, hey, I'm just doing a little bit of research to, oh, I actually trust these guys. Let me put my info in so that way I can get some more information. Those are the things that, is what I've been able to craft and build over the last, 15 to 20 years now that I've been creating websites. But it's those minute details that are extremely hard to put into words, but it's, formatting and copy and all these things, all these techie, nerdy things that when you put it together, make a really effective website for generating leads.
Yeah. The techie, nerdy things would just fly right over my bald head. That's for sure. I'm more interested in what kind of picture are you going to put up that's going to, all this stuff that, people that don't understand would be able to be able to figure out.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
how about, you got me laughing now. What about when you think about this, we're talking about building a business too. So what are some keys into the development and being able to continue to build a business and make a business function like you've been able to do?
Yeah. I mean, that's been, I think, one of the most exciting pieces about the last 8 years has been building a team. It's been my personal growth. It's been me getting comfortable with letting go of certain things. You know, martial arts is a very personal journey, right? And when you're looking at building a business, it becomes way more than that. And being able to trust other people, to build those processes, to really build a company that's going to last a long time and give you the things that you want in life, the freedom to do what you really want to do, is just so important to the success of your business. So, I mean, it's just looking back at where we started when it was just me to now where we've got, I don't know how many employees, 16 employees, something like that, in an office, and, you know, all the fun things that come along with it. It's been super rewarding. But I think the biggest piece for me is seeing my employees realize their dreams, being able to purchase a house, to have a family, to have kids, to do the things that they want to do. And the fact that I'm able to contribute to that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you think those are kind of the keys to be able to move forward in a business, but also to be able to help provide for those who are on your team?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's obviously great books that are out there. E-Myth is one of, like, I say, like a business Bible, essentially, in terms of building processes and building a business that's going to grow without your direct involvement. But at the end of the day, if you take care of your team, they're going to take care of you. And we want our employees to stay with us as long as possible. And, you know, up until the point that they, you know, we've had employees that left because they started a family and decided, like, hey, I'm going to focus on my kids full time, that sort of thing, which is wonderful. We support them 100%. But yeah, we want to keep employees for as long as possible and just continue to grow and help them grow. And, you know, our retention rate has been amazing because we treat our employees so well. I mean, full benefits, fully 100% covered health insurance, vision, dental, unlimited paid time off. Just, you know, we try to go above and beyond for our people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Do you, just you mentioned earlier letting go. Was that hard for you? I know it was like super hard for me. It's super hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think maybe it pulls back to the whole martial arts thing, just being a very personal journey and being in control of, you know, your own progression and all of that. But yeah, letting go was tough because I had this mindset that nobody could do it better than me. You know what I mean? It was like, I built this company, I built these websites, like no one can design it better than me. But when you start to open your mind to other people and give them the freedom to provide ideas to you, like every day I'm blown away by the creativity of my team and what they come up with. And yeah, and it's like, it's so rewarding for them as well because they get to express their own creative freedom and to feel valued, that their ideas are valuable and they're going to be integrated. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win once you actually can let go, but you really need to have those systems in place to make sure that they're at least following your vision, your path.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you see as some of the most, I mean, obviously that's a common challenge, for all business owners, letting go, right? But what would you see as a common challenge that business owners face with letting something as personal as their brands online go? Like, I'm sure you're probably dealing, I know we are inside of Seven Figure Dojo because we help with the marketing side on the social media. And sometimes it's like, hey, we know what we're doing. We can really help you. But on the website side, do you encounter that? And what do you say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think at the end of the day, any business, first of all, needs to establish some really strict brand guidelines because every business has a unique voice. It's the thing that makes them stick out. It's their culture. It's what differentiates them from a competitor because we never want to be valued at just pricing or schedule. So I think it's important to any business owner, especially martial arts schools, to really take that time to figure out who they are, right? Are you that jiu-jitsu school that's really focused on competitors, adult competitors? Are you that kid-friendly Taekwondo school that's, more community focused? Like really figure out what it is that you are, and then have that in a place where every single one of your employees can reference, because it's important that they understand voice, meaning behind your business, just the way that you intended. And then you're able to take that information and pass it on to vendors that are running your social media, that are running your website. So that way they're also mimicking, what you have put out and what you intended your business to say to your community, essentially.
Yeah, I think that that's super, super important for people to be able to do. It's really about getting clarity.
Yeah.
More than anything else, I would feel. Yeah. And, you've been training for such a long time as well, since you were a little kid. It seems like you've stayed with one art, I believe. I see
Yep.
I see you traveling, pictures at least on Facebook and Instagram, like traveling to Okinawa and stuff. Like, do you feel like that's been an important part of your journey in business as well as in martial arts, like going to Okinawa and getting some grassroots training and really having that authenticity?
Yeah, I think for two reasons. So one is my karate instructor when I was 2 years old is still my karate instructor today. And he's an incredible role model. He's 20 years older than me. So he's 55 or will be 55 in July. I'll be 35 in July. But he's in incredible shape. He leads with integrity. Yeah, I mean, I can go on, with stories and stories. He's pretty much a second dad to me at this point, growing up in the dojo with him. And having that kind of consistent person that's been in your life for so long is invaluable. And all the things that he possesses in terms of his personality and his values and passing that on has definitely been a big part of who I am. But being part of the same style. So in life, we're hit with all sorts of variables, right? Things are always changing, whatever it might be, marketing, business, personal, everything's always changing. But I really value that being part of the same style of martial arts. The kata that I was doing when I was 3 years old is the same kata that I'm, doing today. And just having that like solid thing in my life that I can always go back to, I think is like super important. So I love the fact that I've been part of the same thing since I was a kid.
That's awesome. Yeah. So switch gears a little bit. What makes Market Muscles different and stand apart? Everybody, like you were talking about earlier, about different schools identify as, jiu-jitsu schools. Maybe they're competitors. That's what they do. Maybe there's kids martial arts schools. What separate Market Muscles in the industry?
Yeah, there's two big things that stand out to me, and it really comes down to our values and who we are as a company. So first thing, we are nonstop innovating, like all the time, coming out with new features, looking at what the latest trends are, and really putting our customers at the forefront, knowing that we need to earn their business every single month. Because we do month to month, we don't do contracts or anything like that. It really puts the pressure on us to make sure that we're consistently providing value for our customers. The great thing is that I take so much joy in that process of, like, that's my favorite thing, is figuring out like what's the next piece of technology we can add, like what's the next thing that's going to really move the needle for our customers. So like when I wake up and I get to work on those sorts of things, like it's a good day. So that I think our customers really do appreciate. The other piece is the customer support. So as a person, and I'm not trying to like boast myself up or anything, but I do think I'm a very empathetic and compassionate person, and it's really followed through to the rest of our employees. So seeing the interactions that they have with our customers through our customer support, I think is great. I mean, we hear it all the time. We get tons of feedback and reviews about our customer support team, and I think it's one of the strongest pieces about Market Muscles. But our availability, our willing to listen to our customers and their needs, but still kind of, bring them down the path that we know well, really lets us stand out against some of the other players in the field.
That's cool. I think you just answered my next question, which is anything special you do to help your clients get better results. If you can fill out any more on that, that'd be great. But I think you've already answered it. It sounds great.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So, obviously always improving. A couple things that we've done recently, because I think it'll add some context. So we introduced a customer success team recently. So previously, we were very reactive to our customers' needs, right? So, you want to update your schedule. Okay, send us an email. We'll do it for you. Or give us a call or chat us. We'll do it for you. Or, you're adding a new program. Okay, send us an email. We'll add it for you. Now with this customer success team, we're proactively reaching out every 3 to 4 days to every single customer, just checking in, seeing how things are going. What can we do? Do you need any improvements done to your website? How are the results for you? Maybe we need to make some changes. So that's been a really big game changer for our clients, just knowing that they truly have a partner when it comes to their websites and their online marketing. And then the other piece that we introduced is every Tuesday, we're doing coaching calls for our clients. And it's really because one of the more common pieces of feedback that I got was, hey, you guys offer so much, but I'm only using, 1 or 2 things that you guys are offering. And I would love to better take advantage of the services that you're providing. So I was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Every week, Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we go live in our Facebook group. It's either going over functionality or it's going over like how to use it. So that way they can, create a referral program or create some landing pages for a specific event or whatever it might be. But I think that's been really valuable to our customers as well.
I mean, I definitely feel you on the proactive approach because, and I think everybody gets busy and they forget the most important skill that we all have as humans, which is to communicate, right? So, and whether it's with our students as martial arts school owners, you can either have that reactive approach and when somebody's unhappy, you're trying to solve it, or you can have that proactive check-in, that check-in to the experience. So I think that's really unique that you've brought that to what you're doing, because I really don't know a ton of people that are doing that. It's something that we implemented as well, maybe even along the same timeline as you, where we're proactively reaching out to all of our clients with the different sides of the coin. People don't know what you offer, right? They don't know all the ins and outs of what you, the company. And so I think that's a really, really good thing. What do you see as the most common challenges maybe that school owners talk to you about when it comes to generating leads online?
Yeah, I think we hear so much from our clients. One of the big things that we get questions about is like, what's the most effective trial offer, right? Like they're getting leads on their website, but how do I get them to convert? What's the, is it 2 weeks for 29? Is it 4 weeks for 49? And that's such a tough question to answer because every location, every area in the United States or wherever is different and people will react to offers differently. Obviously, we always respond with like, hey, you got to test things. You got to try it out, see how it works. Maybe you have to change your offers up, right? Maybe it's experiencing offer fatigue and it's not a bad offer, but it's just not working anymore because, you've been running it for 6 months or whatever it might be. So that's a pretty common thing that people will come to us. But when it comes to actually generating leads to their website, there's a very specific formula that we have for our clients to follow. And it comes with understanding how much traffic is coming to your website, and then the percentage of people that then convert to leads, and then percentage of people that convert to trials. And it all starts with the traffic. If you're able to have control over the amount of traffic, good traffic that comes to your website, you can then predict all the way up till how many students you're going to enroll this month, essentially. So we'll get clients that will come to us and say like, hey, I only generated 20 leads this month. And we'll go and we'll check their traffic. And they only had, 150 or 200 people come to their website that month. And it's like, hey, you've got a great conversion rate here. You've got 10% or whatever it might be conversion rate. You're just not getting enough people to your website.
Yeah.
And then what do you do, right? And that's where you, lean into companies like yours for running social media ads or, looking at how you can improve your SEO. And we have a whole guide on how to both paid and free ways to drive traffic to your website. But most martial arts schools' problems when it comes to generating leads is simply because they're just not getting enough people.
Yes. Yeah. Totally get you there. Yeah. What's crazy is previously with, a couple of years ago, we actually let school owners kind of set their own budget for what they wanted to spend on social media advertising. We don't do that anymore. We have a minimum threshold. And what we realized is what was in the minds of school owners was that I don't need to spend much to get a whole lot of people. Because I think it's, back in the day, you could,
We were spoiled.
yeah, you like,
Yeah.
you had what, $3 lead, or like online. I mean, it's crazy. But times have changed. More people are online. That means it's busier. Like the traffic is busier, right? So now we have a minimum threshold just to make sure that we can actually get that traffic. We can get the volume that they need to then convert, because there is a difference between warm and cold traffic. And I think websites, companies like yours, really help in warming up the prospect. So I'll pick your brain a little bit. What are some things that you're doing on your websites and the templates that you have to warm up that traffic? Taking somebody from, I've never heard of you, didn't even know you existed yesterday, to let me sign up for this trial offer.
Yeah. There's a few key things that we really encourage all of our customers to do. So your website, the intention of it, obviously, is to generate leads, but you need to build the confidence of the people coming to your website first before they actually feel comfortable submitting their information. And to do that, you need to eliminate as many objections that they might potentially have, or, walls that they put up when looking at different martial arts schools or different activities for their child, and do that, with various techniques. Okay. So one of the biggest ones is using real, solid, good photography and videos. I'll tell clients to go invest in hiring a photographer and a videographer before signing up for a website with us, just because I know the value of having those assets for your company is huge. And I'm sure as you guys are running ads for your clients, like, getting good assets is probably one of the hardest things, right?
Yeah.
And it would be amazing if every school would make that investment. And, with us all having like solid iPhones in our pockets, it's very easy at this point to really take good photos. I still think it's great to hire a photographer if you're able to do it, but sometimes those really organic looking photos resonate super well with people over like a very professional looking one. And I'm not talking about, when I say hire a photographer, I'm not talking about like backdrop in your fighting stance type photos. I'm talking about like photos of classes, very organic, people smiling, having fun, like those sorts of photos and videos. And we also have a guide on like specifically what photos and videos you should have on your website. So if you want to attach it to the episode or something like that, I think it would be cool. But yeah, that's a huge thing. Second is displaying your instructors on your website. So if you're looking from a mom's perspective, right? And most of us, not everyone, but most of us, our child's program is probably like the biggest moneymaker, right? Unless you're jiu-jitsu school, that sort of thing tends to outweigh the other way. But really, we're looking at from a mom's perspective. And if you're trusting a business to really take a leadership role with your child, you want to know who that person's going to be or who that team's going to be. So having a really solid instructors or an about page that has great photos of your instructors, smiling, looking friendly, very professional, cleaned up, and having a really great biography for each one is super important as well. And again, this is all just building up the confidence of that person. Any awards that you've won, your school, any local awards that you've won, you want to display those pretty prominently. And yeah, I mean, I can go on and on about other things, but those are just some key ones.
Wow. That's good. So we've been talking about developing the websites. We've been talking about mainly martial arts, but you have another niche that you go down, another road that you go down. Tell me how you're doing with the dance studio.
Yeah. So that's very new for us. So organically, we've had some referrals from our martial arts clients that have friends that are in the dance industry. So we've built a handful of dance websites at this point, and it's been going extraordinarily well for them. And one of the things that I've noticed with the dance studio industry, if this is the way I look at it, martial arts is kind of like 5 years behind when I look at like marketing and things like that compared to like, yeah. And then I'll look at dance and they're like 20 years behind. Like it's bad. Like every website I look at, it's like, it looks like it was created kind of like on Wix, built to, as an asset for their existing students to kind of like find the upcoming events. Like they're not really leveraging a website like it's supposed to be to help them enroll more students. So that's been huge to kind of see. And then like I mentioned, the sites that we created for a couple dance studios have been like wildly successful. So we decided like, hey, we can really make a difference in this industry as well, just like we did in the martial arts industry. And it's so similar in terms of it being a, mostly child focused activity, mostly catering to the same avatar demographic, moms. And yeah, so that's why we decided to really go down this path. Now, not being a dancer and not having that background has been interesting because I've had to really sink my teeth in to learn about the industry and like the words that they use and how things operate. Like, for instance, they're coming up on the end of their recital season, and their entire season, like their entire year, is all pushing towards this recital. So it's like a very huge time right now for most dance studios. So like we've been talking to tons of them, and we'll get to the end of, I don't know what you want to call the sales pitch or whatever. We say, "Oh, you ready to go?" And they're like, "Guys, we just have no time for this right now."
Yeah.
And it's like, contact us in a couple of weeks. So that's what we've been hearing over and over again. But we do have 2 conferences that we're going to actually coming up. So one at the end of July in Connecticut. It's the second largest dance conference, I guess, in the United States. So we're pretty excited about that. And then the week after, we're headed to Vegas for what is essentially the martial arts super show for the dance world. And I will be speaking at that event. So I think that's going to be pretty big.
Hey, way to go.
Yeah, I just found out yesterday. So I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you broke into that niche. That's awesome. And here's what's crazy. We all had startups, and
Yep.
I actually started in one of my locations that I subleased from was a ballet school.
Oh, okay.
He was not, and he was getting going with his school. He didn't have classes every night, so I switched off the nights, and I actually was in a performance, and with him. It's called A Roar of Love, and it's amazing. I was a bad guy in there. I got to lift up all of the ballerinas and throw them like they're going across the stage. It's crazy, man. It was insane. I mean, he would get think about that. Remember when Jennifer was young, we tried to get her in there, and she got that tutu on one day, and she said, no.
I'm just imagining Tommy in tights right now.
No, not in tights.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh.
It's cool though. I think there's definitely similarities in some, but yeah, obviously there's some, and we've done some breakoffs with a few dance studios as well because there is some similarities there. But I feel you on the recitals, and we actually have team members that used to be like dance moms. So they are like, oh, this is like a jam up season, and
Hello, the lingo.
Yeah.
No, it's one, I was like, oh, maybe I need to go watch that TV show, the Dance Moms
The
TV
Dance
show.
Moms, yeah.
But from what I've seen, like the parents or the dance moms, I guess, are some of the most like die-hard supportive parents, like buying all the gear, taking their daughters or their sons to all the events. Like it's pretty incredible how invested they are.
Yeah. Speaking of investments, I don't, this industry in particular, I think has a lot of negative feedback when it comes to making money in this industry. And I think the only other thing that I've found it comparable to is the stigma that people give homeschoolers. Like I was homeschooled from 3rd grade through 12th, and it's like, oh, you were homeschooled. You must not be like the rest of us, like there's a huge stigma. And then there's the same type of stigma when it comes to you're trying to make money off of martial arts schools. Like you're charging, like, what did you do with that pushback, or did you encounter it at all?
It's such a funny concept to me for the reason that most people that I see fight back about like, oh, you shouldn't be making money, typically have like, I don't know, 6 to 8 students and they're teaching out of their garage. Yeah. And they think that their martial arts is like the most incredible martial arts ever. But if that were true, number one, and they decided to go a little bit more commercial and start teaching more people, they could spread their absolutely incredible martial arts to more people than if they were doing it out of their garage and not making any money. So the whole concept of like making money and doing this for a living or whatever, it just doesn't make any sense for those that like push against it for that reason alone. But in general, like I had this initially when I joined the industry, like professionally. I always looked at my martial arts as like the best. I was like, oh man, like traditional karate, it's like, I see all the other stuff where people are like flipping around or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's not real karate, or that's not real martial arts. And when I joined the industry, I learned that it's not about that. It's really not about that. It's so much about having that positive effect on somebody's life that they can take those skills and apply it to become greater people in the world. So I don't care if they're taking jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, if they're learning to do backflips or whatever, as long as you're having a positive effect on their life, that's really what matters.
Yeah.
I think, obviously you have the people that teach stuff like, incorrectly, like gun defense or something like that, that can really get someone hurt. Obviously that's bad. But like for the majority of school owners that are teaching a large group of kids, like they're doing more for the world than those people teaching 6 people out of their garage.
Facts. When did you know that you wanted to keep expanding? I mean, you started with just your instructor school and then start kind of opening it up. Was there a point where you went, okay, I'm going for 700? Like,
Yeah.
or was it just like, okay, I guess we're on this ride now? Like what was that for you?
Yeah, a lot of it was organic, and it was just a mixture of good timing and just having a better mousetrap or a better product. But there was another company that was in business at one point called FCOM that was like the bee's knees when it comes to websites. I think they had like 1,300 or something clients, and they ended up going out of business, or I think they're out of business. But we were in a really good position where we were kind of coming up at that same time, so that really helped. And there was months where we were signing up like 40 or 50 schools. Like it was crazy because people were just like, mass exodus, need something better, need to be able to have control over my website and things like that. So it kind of happened organically, and I'm really glad that it did for a couple of reasons. One, again, we get to have a larger effect on the industry itself. We get to have an effect on our employees. Personally, like obviously I've benefited from it because I get to wake up and do what I love every day, and that's invaluable. But when I start looking at the stats, I've got like all of our websites are connected to like one brain, so I can look at aggregate stats. And we've generated over 1.5 million leads for school owners over the last 8 years. And just the like idea that I've had some sort of influence on a percentage of those people getting connected with martial arts is huge to me, because I look at myself as a product for martial arts. I'm not going to go into too many details, but like I didn't have the easiest life, and just knowing that like I could rely on what I learned from martial arts to be where I'm at right now, and that it's going to help other kids do the same thing, is the most rewarding part of, what I do.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm glad that it was such a positive experience for you. And I feel that way when we actually had a school owner the other day, and I'll just share the story really quick because I think you might have a similar story, but we had a school owner the other day contact us and say, you know what, I'm too old for this. I think I just need to hang this thing up. I'm going to close my school at the end of this month. We just need to discontinue. And one of my coaches, because we do marketing and we also do business coaching, one of my coaches got back on the call and I started talking to him just about the impact. And, do you really want to do this? Like, you're going to lose this impact for the kids in your community. Next day, he has a little girl come in for classes. She's been severely bullied at school, super low self-esteem, talks to the mom, signs her up. He gets back on the call with the coach and goes, I can't close. I can't do it because I got to help this little girl. And I thought it was just, we've had those experiences as well as school owners, but it's so impactful when it happens for another school owner, that they were able to make that decision. I think that's neat that we get to be connected that way with impacting people that we'll never meet personally.
Yeah. It's very butterfly effect, I guess, in a sense. Like that's, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's why most people open up a martial arts school, right? No one really opens up a martial arts school to, build their website or to start doing their bookkeeping or anything like that. It's really that impact that they're having on their community. So, when you put that at the forefront of your mind, it really helps with those hard days, those days where like you just don't feel like, teaching back-to-back classes, eating dinner at 9 p.m. or whatever it is. Like, and I feel the same way about my business. Like when I have a really challenging or time-consuming task or, something that I just really don't want to do, it's like, okay, there's a bigger meaning, there's a bigger picture behind this, and it's bigger than my feelings right now, essentially. So that helps kind of push through those types of things.
For sure.
Wow. So you already touched on this, but so I'm going to ask you again on it. How important is it for you to have a team, a group of people around you? I mean, you already kind of went into it, but let's kind of elaborate on that a little bit more. How did you come to put your team together? How long did it take for you to get a group of people around you that were working together? Because, we've been in business for a long time, and we've had team members come in and leave. Some of them came in because we wanted them to come in, and some of them left because we wanted them to leave, and some of them left because they wanted to leave. So give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So I think early on in a business, when you start to grow, hire from necessity, right? You hire from the point of like, hey, we're super busy. We need this person to fulfill this role. And when you're hiring, from a place of necessity, you tend to hire in a hurry. And for that reason, you sometimes hire the wrong person. And we definitely experienced that early in the business. So there has been people that we've had to let go. But I think over the years, like we've been able to attract really good people for a couple of reasons. One is I think people really feel how much we care, even during the interview process, and they want to be part of a team like that. Secondly, a lot of our hires come from referrals. So it's like all of our people, not all of them, but most of our people are actually connected in some way. So like, for instance, our customer support manager, Eric, who's been with me for 4 years now, he is part of a church community. So he's referred a couple of people over to us, and it makes that hiring process so much easier when like, that there's like that connection already, or like what somebody's heart is like, or like what their personality is like before, because obviously everyone shows up to an interview acting their best, and it's hard to really get a good read on someone. But yeah, we've been lucky in the fact that like the people that are part of us, our team, like they want to see their friends and family be part of something that they really enjoy being part of, so a lot of our hires just come from referrals. But yeah, there's definitely things early, or like decisions that we made early on just from pure necessity, that if I could go back in time, it'd be great to change that. But I think that's just part of growing a business, is going through something like that.
Good. So tell us what's next. Because you talked about innovation, and we're all about that too, because you can't rest on what you did yesterday. You have to move forward, and having a vision for what you want to be able to, the future to look like for your company and for your life. So go for it. Tell us what you got coming up.
Yeah. So there's a couple key things that we're working on right now. So we're heavily investing at the moment in our technology. So our clients at the moment, like obviously they get a website with us. They also get some additional marketing tools, and then they get a pretty basic CRM, just so that way they can see their leads. They do some communication with them. We've got some automation pieces in there as well, but not a true marketing CRM. So we're really diving deep into making a system that's going to help with the whole entire process. And we've kind of have this 6-step process. I've got it written down somewhere, so hopefully I can remember all 6 steps. But first, like in terms of the market muscles, I'm calling it the market muscles method. But 1 is driving traffic to a website. Step 2 is converting that traffic into leads. Step 3 is converting those leads into trials. Step 4 is creating those trials into members. Step 5 is creating those members into advocates. And then step 6 is being able to bring back past members. So if we're able to help a school with all 6 steps, I think we're doing a really great job. So yeah, the technology that we're building has been pretty amazing, but it's all marketing related, automation, referral systems, social media posting. It's just been a lot of stuff that we're working on. And we're currently internally beta testing it with our team right now. And then hopefully in the next month or so, we'll start to let on small groups of school owners to test it out as well. We're excited about that.
Awesome.
I'm curious, just to ask a question here before we wrap up. what's one thing that you feel people don't know that they should know about what you do with Market Muscles or who you are?
Good question. Hey, you're stumping me here. No, just kidding. No, I think once you become a Market Muscles member, really start to feel the community that we've built and, what it's like to really have a vendor that's in your corner and really rooting for you and doing everything that we can to make sure that you're in the best situation possible. Now, I'd be lying if I said that we are able to do that for 100% of the people who sign up for us. Obviously, there's that slip through the cracks where, for whatever reason, our services don't work for them. And one of our big things is we want the onboarding process for any of our customers to be just like their offboarding process, right? So we're very keen on ensuring that the relationship when someone is leaving us is just, like they were treated as they were being signed up. And I think our customers really appreciate that. And it's the reason why a lot of them end up returning and checking out what we've done in the past, because they feel like they're cared about throughout the whole process, regardless about the money aspect of it, if that makes sense. And I think any martial arts school should deploy that strategy with their students as well, right? Because students quit, but you want them to have a really good exit, not feel like they're being taken advantage of. Like in the past, we used to do 30-day notice, and then we would charge an extra month type thing. And it's like, no, if you want to quit, we're going to cancel your subscription today because you don't want to use our services anymore. We don't do the 30-day notice anymore because we don't want our clients to feel like they were, stuck dry of an extra payment or something like that. So it's really important for us to make sure that experience is good, because we do want to earn their business again. And the same thing goes for martial arts schools. I think treating people that way is the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Stephen, thanks very much for being on our podcast today. If someone wants to reach out to you or to Market Muscles to sign up for a site, what's the next steps? What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so typically what we'll do is a website audit. So one of the big things that we like to do is lead with value. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at your website. We'll look at what we think is going right, what we think is going wrong. You can either take that information and send it to your web developer and say, hey, fix these things. If you're interested in hiring us, we'll obviously do it for you and create you a website that's going to just heading to marketmuscles.com. There's a button on the top right that says schedule website audit, or shoot me a message on Facebook. I love chatting with school owners, and I'm happy to have any sort of conversation. You have questions about anything, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks so much for being here. And everybody, we'll see you on our next episode of the 7 Figure Secrets podcast.